Before I tell the story, let me explain a little bit why I registered here. As the eyewitnesses to the story are me and my friend, it makes no sense to tell it to anyone. No one will believe it and write it off as the fact that we got the wrong bus number. I began to look for similar stories on the internet, unfortunately, found only one, came across this site and have decided to tell you about my case. I want to tell you that I am only 17 and everything that happened to me is absolutely true. I was very scared. It all happened on the 18th of August, 2013, and I was out doing business with a friend all day, and then it was time for me to go home. I was very tired all day as we met at 3 p.m. and it was a stressful day for me, although my friend was basically not worried. It's not the point of why the day was stressful for me, it's more of a trifle. What I said was that I probably could have gotten the wrong bus number. But my friend certainly couldn't, about all that below. The time was about 9:15 p.m. when we left the house for the bus stop. At the bus stop we didn't wait long for the bus, then I saw the bus stop, I looked, the number was 91, the one I needed to go to my neighborhood. I ran to it, thinking it had stopped. It turned out it had stopped at a traffic light a few meters before the stop. My friend told me that, which means he must have noticed the bus number. He simply couldn't have put me on another one, as he rides different buses around the city all day long and knows exactly which one and where it goes. After the bus came to a stop, I said goodbye to my friend and got on the bus. I paid the conductor for the fare. There was a moment that I accidentally stepped on a girl's foot, and I apologized. Later my friend and I thought she was a witch. I was standing at the end of the bus, thinking that now I would come home and lie down to rest. And then I accidentally looked at the side window. It was written, train station 90. The station was in the center, and I live in a different neighborhood. At the time I was not frightened, but rather did not understand anything, because I had to go home, so I pressed, call the driver. I was dropped off at some bus stop in the middle of the road, outside my friend's neighborhood. It had no houses and no people at the bus stop. It was dark, the time was about 21:25, so I wasn't thinking about the numbers yet, but was worried about getting home, because the buses finish at 22 o'clock. There was no money on the phone, I could not take the trust payment. There was no way to call a friend, nor could I call a cab. I didn't have any easy money either, the last 16 rubles I spent on the ride on the very 90. I had a plan to wait for 91 at this stop. If he does not come to 10, I go back to a friend's house, which could take 40 minutes on foot, and from there I call a cab and go home. But then at 9:45 p.m. or so, a car pulled up to the bus stop. The car was of dark color, I didn't remember the license plate number, and I couldn't recognize the model in the dark, and it wasn't up to it, it looked like an old Toyota, I guess. Back to the story, a guy in his 20s and 25s came out of the side window and asked if I needed to go to the Novolinsky district, the same district where I lived. I said yes, and he said he'd give me a ride. I also asked if it was free, because I didn't have any money. It turned out to be free. I was overjoyed. I quickly jumped into the car. We had a good conversation with the guy on the way home, then I just told him that I was in the wrong bus. I thanked him, got home safely. I told my mother I took the last bus home. You may ask, since there was no money, my mother should have worried and called. Yes, she did. I just said that I was waiting for the bus at the bus stop. I did not want to worry her too much. And so at home, I turned on the computer and we started chatting with a friend. And that's when we realized that I was taking the 91 bus and not the 90. I said that I could have been wrong and blamed it on fatigue. But my friend couldn't have, that's for sure. That's what he said himself, and that's what I thought too. It was simply impossible to put me on a different shuttle bus. Yes, the numbers are very similar, -90 and 91. Yes, it's easy to make a mistake, but we certainly couldn't make a mistake, since the buses were already running out. So if I had gotten on the wrong one, I wouldn't have made it home. I told my friend everything that had happened to me, both about the numbers and the witch and the guy. After all, after I got into 91, the friend was still looking at me, waiting for me to drive away, which meant he paid attention to the license plate once more by looking at the side window. And it changed to 90 on the trip. I don't know if we both got it wrong, or if it was a witch girl or just mysticism. But I'm pretty sure that if not me, then my friend couldn't have been wrong, and everything that happened to me is very strange.